Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about social media marketing. There will be 12 courses, totally 6 hours of lecture in these topics. The major subject in these courses came from our textbooks: social media marketing, strategy for engaging in Facebook, Twitter, and other social media, written by Liana Evans. There are also several references that we used in these courses too. If you want to more understand on the social media marketing, reading those excellent books will be very helpful. Before we started, I would like to give you a brief introduction about social media. There are so many different types of social media sites. Among them, Twitter's, Facebook's, LinkedIn are those people on the internet that most familiar with. For these social media sites, they allow users to generate their own content, commonly referenced to as user-generated content, or UCG. Social media allows community members to share their experience with others in many different ways. In the past, a lot of businessmen tend to think that social media is only for the young generation, those who have just come out of high school or college. But this is increasingly incorrect. For example, here in Taiwan, statistics have shown that some of the fastest growing demographics in social medias are those above the age of 40. So what are the various types of social medias? We now would like to take a closer look for those social medias in the next sections. The first type of social media is those social networking sites. Social networking sites usually allow community members to upload photos, videos, tag their friends, post comments on each other's wall, creating groups, add fans, invite friends to events, post bulletins, and maybe integrated applications. And undoubtedly, more features will be added as the need arises in these type of communities. MySpace, Google+, and LinkedIn, for example, are social networking that most people are familiar with. But among them, Facebook has surpassed other social networking sites in popularity. In the year 2012, Facebook has climbed to more than 120 million unique visitors a month. Here in Taiwan, more than 50% of our population has an account on the Facebook. But if you plan your strategy for social medias only on these most popular Facebooks, I have to remind you that most of these social networking sites may have extremely different audience. Different social networking sites may offer very targeted audience. You should not be overlooked when you are planning your social media strategy. For example, LinkedIn caters to professionals who want to build their network of colleagues and associates. This site allows community members to post their resumes, answers and ask questions, and form and join groups. Ian's is another example of a social networking site. It, on contrast, caters more to an age demographics. In this case, people 55 and over. Other social networking sites focus on ethnicity such as Black Planets and Asian Avenue. Next to forums and message board, blogs are one of the oldest forms of user-generated contents out there. Blogs allow the creator to express themselves to the entire internet in a way that hasn't been very easy before. Blogs make it easy for bloggers to publish their thought, interest, opinions, ideas, or photos, videos, and anything else. They would like to share with an interesting audience. The sharing itself is exciting and is the lure for most bloggers. This is usually the only driving forces that keep most bloggers on the internet from going. Blogs are possibly one of the best ways to get the word out to a much tailored audience and allow companies to reach those people who are truly interested in their content. But for companies on the internet, blogs can be one of those double-edged swords. Since bloggers are not journalists, your contact with bloggers should be careful, not to get off on the wrong foot with the blogging community, and contact them in a very personal manner was suggested. Twitter and Punks are two very popular social medias here in Taiwan. We call them the microblogging. So what is microblogging? Think of microblogging as a much abbreviated blogs consisting of short message, usually is 140 characters or less. Microblogging often sent from smartphones, laptops, or other mobile devices. Your message are sent to people interested in seeing your post. Those people are known as followers, or if you are using Twitters, your posts are known as tweets. Since Twitters use an open API, Twitter has grown by leaps and bounds in both active user as well as available applications. There are now mobile apps, analytics applications, as well as URL shorteners to have tweets to share their messages. These messages can contain random observations or status update to block comments, videos, and photos. The power of microblogging for a business can be huge if you add personality into your message and not just allow it to be automated. There are another kind of social media that most people are familiar with. That is the Wikis or Wikipedias. Wiki are a great way for people to share their own knowledge and expertise regarding nearly anything imaginable. While controversial in the sense of verifiable facts, for example, here some college, university, and school don't accept Wikipedia as a source for papers and report here in Taiwan. But nevertheless, Wikipedia cannot be ignored for its power for quick information exchange. Wiki, for are not just limited to Wikipedia. There are very specific subjects-oriented wikis, such as one based on Star Trek and Star Wars fan, Cheeses. Companies even launch wikis around industries-related terms or popular product lines or brands with their audience helping to contribute the content that fill these wikis. Wiki can be a powerful way to set your company up as an expert and drive traffic and interest to your brands, products, or services. However, maintaining a wiki is a lot of work, from verifying information to control spams and keeping members active. There are many other forms of social medias that are not so familiar with people. For example, forums and message boards are the granddaddies for social medias. They have been around since the beginning of the internet, when programmers would post information about bugs or fix they ever encountered in the applications they were programming. They were in the first place in which people visit and seeking information from people who have experience with the subject they were interested in. Some social media sites specialized in sharing popular forms of media. The social sharing sites tend to focus on two types of media: photos and videos. The two sites that you cannot leave out of your strategy are Google's YouTube's and Yahoo's Flickrs. Sites such as Delicious, Magnolias, and Digos are communities that have a host of fantastical collectors who want to find great sites to share with their friends as well as the community. This social bookmarking site allows you to bookmark and share your favorite websites with an entire communities. Before you start your social media marketing, please bear in mind that it may not be easy, quick, and cheap. It is one of the biggest misunderstandings of social media marketing is that marketing in this internet media is easy, quick, and most of all, it is cheap. This perception of social media marketing came from people who see reports in the newspaper about how something went popular on a social media site. Since this overnight success seems so easy, they then assume that it was fast, it was easy, and therefore cheap to implement. But here is the problem. Although contents to these social media sites is easy and free, a lot more work is involved in making that content valuable to your audience. The difficult part of finding success in social media is dedicating your resources and time to the social media marketing context. Frequently, most success on social media are stumbled into, not planned by its creator. For example, the EP Bird guys and their experiments on Mentos candies in a bottle of Diet Coke. This overnight success was totally accidental. Even though it was sparked purchasing and discussions of Mentos and Diet Coke, The EP Bird guys did not plan this, and they were not ready for the popularity of their experiments. So unfortunately, this accidental success means those success did not benefit the company in a way they would have if there had been a business plan in place. Because these companies did not plan strategically before they become overnight social media success stories. They did not know how to truly measure their successes or even know how to repeat them. Participating in social media isn't just about creating a page, making a blog post, posting questions, or tweeting. You cannot just leave your mark and expect success. Many companies give up on Facebook when they see no activity occurring on their page. Well, unlike all the media types surrounding how great social media is, it certainly isn't quick or easy. Social media is about holding conversation and sharing experience with others who are connected. Social media community also involve trust, and trust not gained overnight, which is why it pays to first create a social media strategy. Unfortunately, the real conversation often is happening in a forum that the company doesn't even know about. Focusing effort for limited times and in a place where your audience isn't having any conversation about your company is a common mistake. The most important point to remember about a conversation on social media site is that they go on with or without your involvement, approval, or input. Conversations such as these will take you a lot of time and resources to become involved. You cannot control what's being said, how it is being said, or who is saying it. Unlike the traditional mass marketing advertising, with social media, a community is discussing you and your products, services, or brand in a way that its members feel benefited, not the way the company has decided it will benefit the audience. Senior executives who are so familiar with traditional media sometimes have a problem with this concept. Many executives believe that they are in total control of the conversation about their company, brand, products, or services. These people always try to hire people to spin everything. They have been brought up to believe that marketing is about delivering the very careful craft messages, and that it does not matter what the audience say about these messages. Social media has changed all of that. A company no longer has complete control over what is truly valuable to the people who buy their wares. Now the audience dictates the value of your company's products and services. That can be a bitter pill for top management to swallow after years of marketing in a traditional way. Making a conversation with your audience isn't easy. Nowadays, consumers have become increasingly suspicious of companies enter the online marketing space. Always remember that your consumer does not want to be marketed to. Unfortunately, most companies look at social media sites as another place to push their marketing messages like the TV or newspapers. Those messages sure will fall on deaf ears in social media community. Members of social media community are no longer convinced by a coupon for 10% off or an invitation to try a new product. Instead, what they want is connect. This is why social media marketing takes time to nurture relationship into conversation and create those solid, trusted connections. As I have mentioned, previously, years of dealing with traditional media such as TV, radios, and newspaper has conditioned marketers not to listen and focus solely on a finely tuned marketing messages. But social medias work only when the audience members find true value in your products and services and they're willing to share their experience with others. So it is not about you, even though you see consumers talking about you. Please understand that listening is required when you are entering into a conversation in a social media site. When the internet really started to take off, consumers take more control over how their voice, their experience with products or services. From websites to blogs to forums and message boards, conversations start to spring up around products, brands, and companies. Long before the term social media has coined in, these conversations were happening with very few companies knowing that they were even going on, and even fewer understanding that they need to participate in those conversations. These conversations have had more influence on what others buy, subscribe to, and believes is valuable than any marketing messages could manage. You must first begin to understand that a consumer who seems to be complaining is really a customer who has very disappointed in your service or products after putting a lot of trust into what you were selling. Then you can distinguish them from the choice and constant complainers. However, this takes time and understandings. It does not happen because you decide to participate in social media or announce that you have arrived. It happens because you take the time to become part of the community and share an equal level with your audience. Successful social media marketers such as Zappos, Whole Foods, and Southwest Airlines are all putting extraordinary effort into holding the right conversation in the right environment and at the right time with their audience. Before you have started a conversation with your audience, you may want all your employees to get involved in this social media marketing conduct. Your employees have a life after their work hours and more than likely are involved in some social media site in some way. Getting them to understand the impact of their actions on these social media platforms in their off hours is just as important as doing marketing by yourself. Getting your employees to buy into your social media strategy might seem easy, but it can be one of the toughest tasks to implement. Not only does it involve departments communicating with each other, but it also involves setting in place policy for employees who are not directly involved with your social media strategy, but are actually in social media platforms. Even the janitor of your buildings should be made aware that what he said about his jobs on Facebook or MySpace affect your company. Even if it seems inconsequentially to your efforts, everyone on your team should be aware that you have some kind of social media strategy in the work, and they should buy into your social media strategy. While your employees couldn't help or harm marketing efforts targeted to more traditional marketing outlets such as newspaper, radios, and TV, your employee can affect your social media marketing efforts quite effectively. Your employee have just as much of an effect on your social media marketing strategy as do your customers. You will never know how your employees' lives can either hurt or even assist your strategy. The only way you can even begin to understand those possibilities is to ask and share what it is you are planning to do. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of hard work go into creating and implementing a successful social media strategy. The biggest rule that brings company into social media is the thought that this will be a quick, easy, and cheap solution to all their marketing problems. Remember, although it seems that you can now set up a Facebook page or a Twitter account and take it live in just a few minutes, that is the only easy, cheap, and quick part in your social media marketing effort. Thank you for your listening.